Well, it was all going so well, but we've had a January wobble ahead of deadline day. There's unhappy players, there's a possibility of Alex Scott going, but keep your eyes peeled for the surprise World Cup winner. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 5 of Built in Bristol with me, Daniel. We are back today for deadline day in the championship as well as a game away at Preston North End. And we are still in a very good position in the championship, albeit we are starting to wobble. Just one win in 5 going into this game against Sam Allardyce's men, as well as flying out of the FA Cup to lower league opposition. It's not been a good month, and player unrest is starting to get the better of us, which is ironic considering the position we're in. So it might be tricky to make the playoffs, but we're going to try and get back on track today. If you're looking forward to seeing if we can, and whether we can hold on to our young superstar, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We're having real problems with contracts. A lot of our star players, or even our first team regulars who aren't brilliant, wanting massive wage increases, which we just can't afford or really justify, to be honest. And as we go in towards the end of the season now, it is going to be something that's a problem for us. However, we've got a couple tied down, so we're going to talk a bit about that. It's been a very quiet January so far though. In terms of confirmed deals, no players in, no players out. However, there's one player leaving in the summer, Awura Edwards, another one of those who has a bit of potential, but he wanted a big wage increase and his ability does not justify it at the moment, nor do his performances at Ross County. So he's going off to Braga, we'll see how he gets on there. The big problem though has been with the players that are already here. We've got people on the fringe of the squad like Rob Atkinson and like Zach Viner who want to leave the club, but we're not getting loan offers that really reflect their value or even offer to pay their wages in full. We've got people out of contract in the summer like Nikita Hykin, who is on $5 grand a week and won't sign a deal for less than 20, and I'm not making him my highest paid player. I just can't justify it. We've got the same issue with Cameron Pring, who's still got 2.5 years left on his deal. Andreas Weimann wanted $40 grand a week at 31. I don't even want to extend his contract beyond the end of next season, let alone offer him 3 times his wage. We've then got Alex Scott, who wants to go for 18.75 million. We agreed to the deal, but now we're encountering that problem in FM where there's an offer that's over 18.75 million, but not in guaranteed money. And it's a little bit of a grey area when it comes to those discussions in Football Manager. He's got the likes of Manchester United, Borussia Dortmund, Palace, Southampton, everyone chasing him. I'm sure it'll be a testing day. Add to that, Matty James has been out injured a lot of the last 6 weeks. He's declining physically, and his absence has generally coincided with our pretty poor form. So problems on the pitch, problems with the contractual side, and problems with the players who we're going to be relying on for the rest of this year. If we go and have a look at the schedule for how that's affected us, well, I think you've got your answer, haven't you? You were with me for 2 of the 3 games before the World Cup where we did really well. We did even better at home to Watford where we won 5-1. They completely collapsed away from home. Wells, Cornick and Scott got 1 each and Vyman added a brace. We played a couple of friendlies during the World Cup which went well. Then 3 successive wins on our return with Scott and James scoring first half goals at Rotherham. A 2-1 win against Stoke thanks to Wells and Scott. A 1-0 against West Brom thanks to Cornick. And then Alex Scott threw his toys out the pram. Matty James got injured. It all unravelled. We lost 1-0 away at Millwall. Not the worst result on paper, is it? Same for a 0-0 at Coventry, in fairness. Then a 1-1 away at Hull in the Cup, saved in the 93rd minute by Mark Sykes, before a 1-1 draw at home to Birmingham, a late saviour in Tommy Conway, a game we dominated but could not score a goal in. A 3-1 win at home to Hull in the FA Cup, the replay was Lyle Taylor's day. A 3-1 defeat at home to Blackburn was awful, Reece Williams got that goal. A 2-1 win, though, gave a little bit of respite at Huddersfield, a late Lyle Taylor penalty after we struggled to break down 10 men. Nahki Wells had got us back on terms. And then a 2-1 defeat away at Charlton in the FA Cup with what was basically a first 11 by the goalkeeper. But he did make a mistake in a 2-1 defeat. Now we go into a run of fixtures which is a bit mixed on paper. I guess after Norwich at home, our 3 home games after are Wigan, Hull and Blackpool, which are decent enough on paper. But there are a lot of tricky games. The away derby at Cardiff, Luton away, Sunderland away, and then a pretty difficult end to the season with the likes of Burnley, Watford, Middlesbrough, Stoke all in that little end period. So it's not going to be an easy finish, but we are in a decent position. We've got a big buffer to the outside of the playoffs, which is Cardiff, who are flying this year. They're 11 points behind with a game in hand. Norwich have run away with it. They're going to win the league. And Blackburn have overtaken us in the second now. So it's deadline day. That is the focus for the first half of this episode. We're linked with goalkeepers now because Hykin has basically decided he's going to leave. He did reject a return to Bodo Glint, who offered him a contract. Mike Cooper's probably my primary target, but not tonight. Kieran Dow is being linked because of Alex Scott's deal, but Dow's not going to be signing for us. He's on 25 grand a week. And Reece Burke from Luton, probably not a position we need to prioritise with so many players needing game time. So we're looking at the day, and I'm just hoping that we hold on to Alex Scott, hoping that no more players become unhappy. Is a quiet deadline day expected? But that means nothing, does it? These predictions are always wrong. We've also been linked with other players, as have our players with other clubs. George Tanner linked with Hearts. Someone offered about 500 grand for him. He's been one of our best players in the Championship. He's worth 1.7 million and they popped up with $500,000 bid. I mean, it's a bit cheeky, isn't it? But no real deals going on for us. I just need to hold on to people. And then I need that unhappiness to end as quickly as possible. We've got any chance of the top two or winning the playoffs if we can get in a top six. We've got to have a good day today. We've got to get those outcomes sorted. Let's get through the rest of the day. We'll be back if there's any news. Well, 5 hours have passed on deadline day and there has only really been an offer for a backup keeper O'Leary and it was a pathetic one. His transfer value 300 grand and St Mirren offered 76,000. He's going nowhere for that. Francois is the first player to leave though and he goes to Northern Ireland. He joins Linfield on loan, the young Australian youth international. So we'll see how he gets on there, but not a player that's threatening the first team. McCalman has come back from his loan at Carlisle. Not much else really going on. I guess we have got a decision to make on loan players elsewhere. I'll make some decisions later in the day. But for now, let's just skip ahead. Well, there is 30 minutes to go on transfer deadline day, and so far we have had no offers for Alex Scott, but I am aware that in some countries the window shuts tomorrow, so we're not out of the woods just yet. What we have got though is a bit more news for the rest of the day, not particularly exciting. Ballymena tried to loan in a youngster who failed a work permit because he's Canadian, I think. Yes, he is, and he didn't get one for his loan. And we've got a few other players who were linked with moves, but nothing that really came about. What I do want to share with you, though, is some good contractual news, because I feel it's all been a bit downbeat so far. Because if we can keep hold of Alex Scott for next summer, if we can go up to the Premier League, well, he's going to have his old former hot prospect midfield partner with him. Because if we go to our loans out, we have done something that hasn't been able to happen in real life. And that is persuade Hannoa Masengo to sign a new deal. He has agreed a deal on 18 grand a week until 2025. And it just gives us that resale value because he's worth a lot of money. We've given him a minimum fee release of 19.5 million quid. And if we get that sort of offer, then fair play. But it does mean if we go up as well, we can switch to the proper 4-3-3 because he's natural in the holding role. So a really good bit of business that, and I think it will make us a lot of money. And on the other side, if we do end up losing both in the summer, it's going to be about 40 million quid, isn't it? So it could be very good for us. We look at some of the others developing, and Sean Ruffin having a really good spell away on loan. It's our last chance to get him back, but with Jay Da Silva not going, we're going to keep him out there. He's having a good year in League 2, and so are some of the other loan players. So Shadrach Ogie, who we signed in the summer, playing almost every single game at Salford. And even further up, the likes of Bajic, really having a good season in the second league in France. So there is some good news away from the club, albeit frustrated players here that can't get the moves they want. Players we wanted to offer out on loan who just didn't get good enough deals. But with half an hour of the countdown to go, it looks like everyone's staying, which for Alex Scott is a good thing, because he wasn't unhappy. He just wanted an agreement to leave for a certain fee, which hasn't come. I will show you the other thing with excitement while we're here, which is the youth candidate screen. Because look at this, we've got an excellent youth intake on the way with a centre-half who's expected to be top class. If you consider at the moment that we haven't got a second starter because Hendry and Williams are both on loan. A centre midfielder, I think we've got enough of them, but also a decent keeper linked as well. But if we can get a top class centre-half, that would be one problem solved for next season. 30 minutes to go, let's get through deadline day and we'll be back for Preston and the surprise World Cup winner. Well, the deadline has just passed, but we've now had this guy pop up in our scout reports who looks like he's got a bit of potential and there's not much money wanted for him. Adam Mayer is a youngster at Morecambe who's having a decent season in League One. Versatile enough too, so we're going to scout him and just see how good he is. But if we go through to the inbox, the least eventful deadline day you could expect, and it's exactly what we wanted in the circumstances. Our wage expenditure still 16th in the league, Blackburn's is 13th in fairness, both massively overachieving this season. If we have a look at the roundup, well, some big moves elsewhere, but not any that we're going to be getting involved with. Should we go and show you what happened in the Winter World Cup though? We had a month off and there were some surprising results. Just wait till you see who the holders are. How about that? Switzerland beat France in the final of the 2022 World Cup. Now, we have got a lot of these nations loaded. Of course, there's good players about, but you're looking at Shaqiri, Xhaka, Zakaria. They're good players. Are they going to win a World Cup? I think you would say probably not. Switzerland do always do all right. It's certainly not the biggest shock in the world, but for them to win the World Cup, I think would send a few shockwaves over in Qatar. So, who got to the semi-finals? Mexico and Belgium. Mexico's a bit of a surprise as well. They've had stronger teams in the past. England lost in the quarterfinals to France. We've had enough heartache with that. Serbia got there to Belgium. Mexico beat Wales, blimey. And Croatia lost to Switzerland. So a lot of the big boys missing. Not sure where the South Americans are. Your Argentina, your Brazil. Where on earth have they been in the second round? Germany went out then as well. Argentina went out to France. Yeah, it's been a bit of a strange draw, hasn't it? Brazil lost 3-0 to Switzerland in the group. And Serbia beat Cameroon by 8. That is a bit of a weird World Cup, let me just say that. We're going to get ahead to Preston now though. We've won 1 league game in 5. We've had a dismal run in the Cups and the league, and we need to put it right. Preston away is the next stop. Now please, will some of you end your unhappiness? Well, it's fitness test time. We've got 45 minutes out of Matty James today, but we've got more problems. Both Viner and Rob Atkinson have thrown their toys out of the pram because they weren't able to get loan moves, but I'm not paying all their wages if they're not playing for me. And it looks like one's going to leave at the end of their contract and the other is going to sit unhappy. We've still got Pring with the same problem because he wants to earn more than anyone at the club, and he's not that good. We've also got Vyman in the same boat, and of course I've mentioned that we have got some positives as well. Rhys Williams developing brilliantly, now the best centre-half at the club. He has been a revelation at the back. We have a look at our squad for today. We're going to bring our first choice goalkeeper back in, of course. He's still linked with a move away. He's still wanted by other clubs. AEK are the latest ones chasing him. And if we have a look at the bench, we've got to go strong. So Jack Hendry will go on for Atkinson. The aim now is bar those who are in the starting 11. We don't get unhappy players in the squad. I think that's the best chance we've got. I'm going to take Matty James out, bring him off the bench because we need a fit squad for this one. And we're also, I don't know what to do with Vyman. I don't know what to do with Cornick. I gave him a rest at the weekend. I'm going to put Conway back on the bench and go as strong as we can. Vyman off the left and Cornick off the right. Wells has had a stinking time. I'm going to bring Lyle Taylor in for him. Although Wells has got a much better morale, so we'll go with that. This is really tricky, you know, because I've had this before in FM, and it is my argument at the minute. I've had plenty of occasions in the past where I lose the dressing room, and we talked about improving dynamics in a recent top 3, but when you lose the dressing room when you're flying, it does seem a little bit off. There's not those options to have the conversation and say, actually, just wait a minute. Look at where we are in the table. There's not those realistic options. But this is the team that we're going to go for today. I think aside from maybe McCrory and for Williams. No, again, let's just go for our strongest team. Stop trying to be clever. This is the best squad we've got. It's Hiking in goal. Tanner and Pring the fullbacks with Naismith and Williams at centre-half. We've got Joe Williams alongside Clark in midfield. Scott as the number 10. And then Vyman and Cornick of Naki Wells up front. We need goals. We need a win. And I don't care if we do it ugly at this point. Let's go and get into the first half. As Preston North End under Sam Allardyce have got Delap and Parrott up front. Sarmiento's in there as well. They've got some good attacking players, haven't they? Let's get through the dressing room. Let's tell the lads a win moves us into the promotion places. Alex Scott, will you please stop being complacent? I need you to make the difference. And at the moment, he's reacting negatively. It was the big problem at Charlton in the Cup. 4, 5, 6 players complacent. And you're going away to a League One side and getting battered. And then you're still complacent. When are you going to learn a lesson? We're 5 minutes in. It's been a quiet start, but I could just do with them giving us a really poor goal. We need a starter in this one. The confidence is going for some. The complacency is still there for others. And at the minute, with 20 gone, I'm not optimistic because we've managed 0.04 expected goals and just 1 shot on goal. Well, approaching the break, and it doesn't get any better from an entertainment point of view because we have gone through the whole half without a highlight. And look, now we've got nerves and complacency mixed about. How on earth do you decide what is the right thing to do here? I mean, I'm going to say I'm proud of the efforts and you can win this because, in truth, we're doing better than we have in many other games where we've been behind at this point. So the individuals that are nervous are Vyman and Pring, and that's because they're unhappy. And if you sorted your morale up and stopped moaning until the end of the season about your contract, we'd be in a much better position. But instead, we're getting no reaction. And I tell Scott I'm not happy, still don't get a reaction. It's a bit frustrating. When you're second in the table and you lose the dressing room, it is quite a frustrating thing to see. We're overachieving massively and the players are starting to cause the problems. But then that's why Bristol City probably haven't been promoted in recent seasons. As Brown gets down the right, it's a good ball in. Reece Williams heads away as far as Whiteman. A bit too much time. And he's put it in the bottom corner under no pressure whatsoever. Oh, it's going to be a very long second half of the year. I just can't believe from the position we're in that we've suddenly lost everyone. It is really baffling. And yes, it's a failure of man management. I accept that. But you've got to ask the question in a situation, what are you really unhappy about? Conway is going to be replaced by Vyman. Wells off for Lyle Taylor. And we're going to take off Scott for Matty James. He is going to be replaced by Clark as the number 10. And James drops into his preferred role. We've got Williams on a yellow card, so on comes Ross McCrory. And Wilson will replace Pring. We'll switch Tanner out to the left. In fact, no, we're not going to do that. Go back a minute. We're going to put Naismith on the left. Hendry in the middle. 5 subs made. The unhappy players are off the pitch for now, but we need a reaction. We're encouraging as Clark gets it on the right to Tanner, to the byline. Across him finds Hendry. Don't know why he's up there. McCrory back in. Lyle Taylor. Oh, he's got to score. Hughes does well to defend it, but you've got to score there. The flex over the bar. It's a corner kick, and Cal Naismith will take it. Can we get people in the box? It's to the back post. It's poor. Straight at the goalkeeper. You've got to do more with a corner than that. And from a player with his quality too. One shot on target in 70 minutes is not winning any game fast. And now you make your 5 subs and you get injuries. I mean, it's starting to unravel, isn't it? I can feel it happening and I feel a bit powerless to do anything about it. Because here, with 15 to go, we're down to 10 due to injury against Preston. We're 1-0 down. It's going to be another defeat. And I've just got to hope this recovers quickly. I'm going to have discussions about the contracts because I don't feel I've got an option. They're forcing my hand here. And they're falling apart. But how can we justify, when you go in 6 games and you've won 1, how can you then say, I want to become the highest paid player this club's seen in years? It's not really a worthy argument, is it? 5 to go. It's a 2-0 defeat. It's a poor performance. And I'm afraid there are not many positives to take out of this. Let's see what the injury is to Jordan Clark because that could make it even worse. I don't like what I've seen there. It's a poor performance. And now, finally, we get a reaction. It's too little too late, isn't it? That does keep us in 3rd still, but a late win for Watford means the gap is close to 8. We're definitely not going to catch Blackburn, are we? This has now become a case of, can we hold on to a place in the playoffs and then somehow find a miracle? Because for now, Jordan Clark is out for 7 weeks. We are running out of players that are fit in midfield. Mehmeti's just been injured all year. King is out long term. Benarous is nowhere near back, and Matty James is only just back, but will be injured again soon. Frustration, I think, sums up this episode, doesn't it? We're going to have to do something about morale off camera. We're going to have those chats. We're going to have those team bonding sessions, because we're not getting outplayed in most of these games, but in the key moments, the mentality is not right. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back. I think we're going to go maybe till around the international break. The last 2 games before it are away at Luton and Swansea. Luton, of course, are a club I support in real life, and Swansea, they're in a relegation scrap. It's going to be a big test of where we're going to be this year. I could have shown the Cardiff game on TV, the derby, but I want to get through as many games as possible so we can get a few extra seasons in. So those are the 2 we're going to show before the international break. Then we can come back again for the end of the year. If you're looking forward to seeing how it goes in between and whether we can resolve any of these situations, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. You didn't think this was going to be easy after 3 episodes, did you? If you did, well, you're being proven wrong. Let me know in the comments what you would do with all this dressing room unrest. The dynamics are really getting worse now. We've got 6 players unhappy. the managerial support's going down, and the club atmosphere is about to drop into the red. If you want to find out if it stays there or not, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time for another episode of this one. And in the meantime, we've got a special coming on Sunday, and the Build a Nation returns on Monday. Don't forget, you can see all the key playlists up in the eye above, as well as the football podcast where we've got championship predictions every match day from the real footballing world. You can also follow me on Twitch for regular live streams and find anything else down in the description, including our sponsor HelloFresh, a special discount there for us. And hopefully, as well as helping you be healthy, it helps support the channel too. But thank you very much for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I think I need to take a deep breath and try and calm down in this one. Back next time to see if we've recovered.